Excuse me as I kiss the sky.
Hey guys, it's your girl Soncerae here. So y'all know I'm big on philanthropy and humanitarianism. Check out my shirt. I got this shirt from my good friends at the Hip Hop Goes Back Foundation. It's a nonprofit organization that uses hip hop culture to positively improve the life skills of members of the community. They have a ton of electrifying youth programs and camps. They throw fundraisers, seminars, expos, gaming tournaments, all types of community events. They have bountiful resources for underprivileged families. They do an annual turkey classic with live performances, a celebrity basketball game, food giveaways, all types of vendors. It's pretty cool. I went once when I was in Atlanta. They also team up with this basketball team called the Georgia Spartans. And when I was in Atlanta, I used to go to the Georgia Spartans Health Expos. They're looking for kind hearts to bring value to their organization. So if you are looking to volunteer or donate, please go to hiphopgivesback.org, okay? There you will find their contact information, and make sure that you tell them that Soncerae sent you, okay?
A lot of the time people tell me I am so strong. Like, they see me on YouTube and they see, a lot of the stuff that I go through on social media all of the time. And they're just like, honey, how do you do it? Like, how do you be a single mom, own a business, keep a job, go out there and just do your thing? How in a little bit of time did you manage going from being homeless in the streets? How did you do that? How did you move across to the other side of the United States? You really got to start your life over. You don't know anybody. Just moving to the other side of the United States is hard. So how did you do this? Pregnant? How did you become a single mother over there? What did you do? How did you do this? And here's what I want to say about moving forward. And a lot of people don't understand the concept of moving forward. They think the concept of moving forward has something to do with them moving on from someone else, or no longer being in their feelings, or just a whole bunch of other stuff. And I'm going to tell you the main things that helped me move forward with my life. It opened up my life. I have a fascinating journey that I love sharing with people. Being honest about my journey was very helpful. Okay, and a lot of people, don't like to talk about their issues. They don't like to talk about what they've been through. But me, I release it. I release it so it can go. If I keep it inside and I don't say anything, I'm not dealing with it. And a lot of people will be like, well, deal with it with your therapist. Why do you have to use social media? Because dealing with it with my therapist doesn't help other people. I'm just dealing with it with my therapist privately. But if I deal with it publicly, it can help other people who may be going through the process, who maybe can relate. And so changing the course of my life, I had to let go of a lot of things. I had to let go of subscribers, friends, followers, supporters, family members, exes, a whole bunch of stuff that was also very toxic to me. Not saying that those things were, but honestly, if I had to get rid of you out of my life, you wasn't a supporter, you wasn't really a friend, and I shouldn't have been calling you true family to begin with. You understand what I'm saying? There are some valuable people in my life, and I knew that I needed to be the best version of myself I could be in order to be helpful for those people. And growth is not always positive. Growth doesn't always look good. I think everybody sees the end result of growth, and they think that the whole road is that way. No, there are some ugly pieces of growth. And me, I'm the type of person, I do self-reflection and self-evaluation every day. And I don't need other people outside of my life to point out things in my life in order for me to change them. Like, other people's perspective of reality is not mine. So only I know what I need to change. Other people's opinions about what I need to change doesn't matter to me. So that's one of the number one things that you got to do if you try to move forward or have the strength that I have. You got to let the opinions of others go. You can't let that stuff control your life. It's not what other people think about you. It's what you think about yourself. And you have to do what's best for you in your life. And most people that aren't in your life, they don't know that. They don't know what's best for you. So you can't really listen to most of what they're saying, especially if they're strangers. A lot of people, especially on social media, they don't mean well when they're talking to you. Okay? Again, a lot of them have warped perspectives of reality. A lot of them have issues and stuff that they're dealing with that they haven't even processed. So a lot of people just can't give you advice. The next thing that amazes people about me, they think this is so astonishing, the fact that I don't care about my past. Because see, my thing is, I'm not about to sit up here and be a prisoner of my past when every single person on this planet has a past and has something that they did wrong or they didn't like or was a mistake or somebody turned their nose up at them. You know, I'm not about to sit here and be a prisoner of that. I have failures, I had lessons, and that's what I look at my past as a lesson, not a life sentence. So it's not equivalent to my future. You could maybe 5 or 6 years ago, you could have tried me with some foolishness, but then when I learned my lesson, you can't try me with that foolishness now, because now I know better. So I'm not ashamed of the things that I did in the past. I'm not ashamed of the mistakes that I made. I don't care what anybody thinks about my past. I just keep it moving because I know that these people got so many skeletons in their closet that they hide in every time they open their mouth to criticize me. That's why it's easy to ignore a lot of people who say a lot of negative stuff. Man, you gotta let people talk. Let people speculate. Let people assume. Let people have preconceived notions. A lot of people do not mean well on social media. So people who have chastised me about my past on social media are people I don't give a shit about. And a lot of people are like, how do you not care what people think? I just don't. Because they human beings just like me. Listen, if they don't have enough sense to respect me as a human being and to understand that life is a process and we all have a journey here and they in no position to judge me, then that's something going on with them. Because I'm not going to keep looking at them feeling some type of way. All I'm going to do is keep praying for them. When I hear somebody say something bad about me, all I do is pray for them because my heart softens for them. Because I'm like, what is it that you're going through that's making you continuously talk about me negatively? Like, what's going on with you, honey? Do you feel okay? Are you all right? Like, what's going on in your own personal life? What stuff aren't you dealing with? Or what are you going around saying to other people just so you can get social acceptance from somebody else? Like, what's really going on with you? Do you lack the understanding? I mean, do you not have anything better to do? Is your marriage miserable? You know, did you just lose a parent? You know, are you having struggles with your job or with your finances? Like, what's really going on with you? That's immediately what I think when I hear someone say something negative about me, because I'm not necessarily going around here talking about a whole bunch of people, especially strangers. I don't know. You know, I keep my mouth talking about my experiences and what I'm dealing with and my thought processes as far as the people that I've dealt with in the past and how I could improve the situation or why I'm still upset about the situation. But as far as talking about strangers, I don't even bother with that. Like, I don't know, that's for the feeble-minded. That's like for the small-minded, I want to say. Because when you are an independent thinker and you have a bigger mind, you spend more of your time interacting with other people, exchanging ideas, talking about ways to improve, handling business. Like, a lot of us just really don't have time for a lot of negativity when we're so productive in our lives. So I don't really, try to pay attention to any of that. So I'm so sure of. Another thing that helps me move forward is I'm so sure of myself. I'm so sure of what I want in my life. You can't move forward if you consistently are being indecisive about what you want. And for me, I'm not like that. I know exactly what I want. I know exactly what I want to do. I stay focused on that until I get it. I don't care how many failures come. I don't care how many setbacks. I understand that there are hills and valleys in life. And so I keep pushing forward even though I might experience some type of negativity or something that may be seemingly pulling me back from what it is that I want. I make a decision, I figure out how to get it done, and then I execute whatever plans passionately. I pursue it passionately, and I obtain basically everything that I want. I accomplish basically everything that I want because I'm consistent with it, and I don't give up. Okay, the next thing that I really don't do that a lot of people do is procrastinate. What I do is wait for inspired action. Like if I don't get some type of feeling or some type of intuition to move forward on something that I'm thinking about, or if I'm unclear or confused, I'll wait for a signal from the universe or from my higher power. I meditate and I pray so much that when it comes time for me to do something, I always wait for a signal from the universe. I don't sit around, I don't just perform action, because I notice a lot of times when I just go out there and I just do action without necessarily feeling comfortable with it's almost like I wasted my time doing X, Y, and Z when I should have just stayed in the house. I mean, it's times where I went outside and tried to start my day because I felt like I didn't have enough time to get something accomplished. And throughout that whole day, I ended up wasting a whole bunch of time, a whole bunch of money, because number one, I didn't wait for inspired action. I didn't wait for my intuition to tell me to do something. I was just like, oh my God, I have to get this done because of this deadline or that deadline. But a lot of times when I just wait for the universe to give me an inspired action, or I wait for a signal, a lot of times things get accomplished much easier and much faster most of the time, honestly. And so I try to just chill and sit back. If something tells me not to leave the house, I don't leave the house. Because if something tells me not to leave the house and I end up leaving the house anyway, something crazy always happens and my day goes out of control. Like, so now I just listen. I just trust it. I don't procrastinate when it comes to my goals. I realize that I have two choices in life. You know, I can accept things the way that they are, or I can take responsibility for it and take charge of it and change the situation. It's up to me to decide which one I want to do with it. Some things I just accept that that's how it is. And other times I'm like, this is unacceptable. This needs to change. And then I do what I need to do in order to make those changes. I don't take now for granted, because I feel like every day I wake up, it's right now. Every moment, it's always now. I have to take opportunity right now. I have to take advantage of opportunity right now. I don't have any other time. Everything is right now. Nothing is in the past. Nothing is in the future. Every moment is right now. That's all I have. So I take advantage of that. Another thing that I don't do is sit around and do nothing. I've said it before. I don't like idle time. So I like to apply myself. I like to do a number of things because to me, it is important to be productive. I don't like to lay around unless I'm really tired. Like, I got to be really tired mentally or really tired physically in order to just sit still. And I mean exhausted, because I'll keep pushing. I'll be tired and I'll keep going and going and going and going. And sometimes it gets so bad that I'm going and then my head will start hurting because I have a lack of sleep. Every day I do maybe 3 to 5 hours of sleep, and after that I'm so up. It's like I gotta go out here and I gotta do what I gotta do until I get tired again. And then I'll lay down for maybe an hour or two and then I'll start over. You know, so I'm the type of person, I continuously like to be productive. So I don't sit around and do nothing. You know, I go out there and I do it. You know, every day is a new opportunity to go out there and be the type of person that I want to be. And I don't want to waste time sitting around pondering about whether I should try something or whether I should be the type of person I want to be. I just go out there and I do it. The next thing that I do is I have no desire to be right when I'm dealing with people. Like, a lot of people want to be right. They want their opinion to be validated. So if they could get enough people to agree with them with what they're saying, they feel comfortable. They feel like, you know, they've accomplished something. And I think it's like the feeding of the ego. The more people they get to clap for them, or the more people they get to agree with them, even if what they're saying is nefarious or malicious or, you know, it's ugly and cruel, if they can get a whole bunch of people to agree with what they're saying, they feel comfortable. Like, a lot of people want people to follow them. And if people follow them and admire them for the things that they're saying, regardless to how low energy it is, how false it is, they feel better about themselves with it. And so one thing I don't do is like argue with people who have already made up in their mind that what they're thinking and what they're doing is right. Or sometimes they don't know, you know, what they're doing. A lot of times people have underdeveloped minds, or they don't know any better yet. And with time, they learn their lessons and then they get better. But for me, I try to go out there and get my success. And in order for me to be successful, I have to learn from certain people. I have to listen to certain people, but I also have to factor in my source of information. I can't just sit here and listen to a whole bunch of people and classify those people as right. But at the same time, it's like, if it's coming for a reputable source or a person who has accomplished more than what I have, and we're talking about something or we're discussing something and I think something is one way and they think it's another, I'm not sitting here just so pressed to be right inside of an argument that I just completely disregard everything that they're saying. I sit down and I listen. Now, if a person is, I can't really trust their judgment. They might be broke. They might not have goals and accomplishments. They might not have graduated from college. They might not have anything going for themselves. Every time they open their mouth, they're saying something negative about someone, or they're gossiping, spreading rumors or something like that. To me, that's not a reliable source. So I can't come to them and ask them anything, because most of what they're saying is either negative or it has a false narrative attached to it, or they're lying for whatever reason, whatever. So I just don't listen to them. When you always need to be right, you lose your ability to learn things and move forward in life. And I know there are so many things out there that I don't know that I need to learn. So I just constantly keep my ears open to understanding other people and to their walks of life, especially if I want to do something similar with my life. Another thing that I don't do is run from my problems. Okay, and like I said at the beginning, when you are going through something, a lot of times you think not talking about it or not facing it will make you feel better, but all it does is keep it all inside, and then later on, eventually, life is going to force you to have to deal with it. So for me, I'd rather just release it now. Until I'm over it, I release. Whatever coping mechanism I need to do in order to get over something, I do it. Getting on social media, talking about my experience where I was left to die in a damn hotel with my son's father, talking about that helped me get through it. It was a coping mechanism, and it also helped other people. I felt like this was me releasing something, and it felt good for me. I didn't care who else was bothered by it. It didn't bother me. It was for me. And I felt like for once I needed to do whatever it is that I was doing on my social media for me, because I had always for so many years did what everybody else wanted me to do. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to use my social media for me. I don't care what nobody think. I don't care what nobody want. I'm just going to do what I'm going to do. And I'm going to fix this problem in the process. And part of fixing the problems that I had was me being honest with myself, realizing that I did feel some type of way about what was happening to me. And it was okay for me to be upset. It was okay for me to be angry and frustrated and felt like I was betrayed. It was okay for me to feel that way. I had been manipulated. So of course, as human beings, we all been through something, but something to that degree, not the average person is walking around here going through. And so as I'm dealing with being abandoned in a hotel while I'm pregnant by somebody that I thought I was going to marry because this person doesn't have his priorities together, or whatever it is that's going wrong with him, I got to stop focusing on him and everybody else and start focusing on me so I can become the better parent, so I can become the better friend and businesswoman and entrepreneur and sister and mother, daughter, and whatever other hat I got to put on, So I just do not run away from my problems. I face my issues. I fix the problems. I communicate. And I try to forgive and love people. And forgiving and loving people is like a process for some. Because some people, you look at them, they're just easy to love. Some people, you just be like, they easy to love. And then other people, it can be complicated because they got flaws. They got other things that they're dealing with. And you're like, oh my God. There might be something about them that you don't like. So it's making it hard for you to love them or forgive them. It's very difficult for me to forgive my son's father. Forgiving him ain't even something that I'm doing for him. Forgiving him is something that I'm trying to do for myself. And I said to him when he first pulled this stunt, I said, I am never going to forgive you for this shit. If you go through with this, I'm never going to be able to forgive you. And I think for me, it's I was basically telling him, this is the deal breaker for us. We're not going to be friends. We're not going to be cool. We're not going to be nothing if you do this. So I think I should have worded it that way instead of saying, when he said he wanted me to forgive him, I was like, you can forget that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm still working on this every day, trying to be in a place to where I can forgive him. It's a process. It's not something that is going to happen overnight. And it's been like 2 years and it's still hard. Like, I still literally have a ton of negative feelings about him, and it's going to take me a while. And I said before, when I was trying to do a guesstimate, I was like, this probably going to take me about 10 or 15 years to get over it fully, to where I have no anger in regards to him at all. Like, it's going to take a while, because when I look at my son, right, my son is a reminder of, how terrible things went between me and my son's father. I just think to myself, like, how could you do this to a kid? Like, how could you put a kid in a situation to where he doesn't have his father around? Like, why would you do something that selfish? Why would you hurt yourself, me, and a child all at once? And not to mention this ex-wife of yours. You also hurted her. How could you hurt all of these people in a single bound like that and then sleep well at night? Like, how are you even capable of doing that? Are you a sociopath? Are you narcissistic? I mean, what's going on? So I'm sitting here with all of these judgments, and I'm trying not to judge him at the same time. I'm doing all of this by myself. It's not like he's sitting around here helping me. Look at him as if he's a better person. So that's the challenge right there. Me sitting here doing self-evaluation and also looking at other people that hurt me and accepting the fact that I may not ever get an apology. I may not get treated the way that I want to be treated by these people who hurt me so badly. But I have to be okay with that and still forgive them in a sense of forgiveness and how it benefits me, not them. So it's a process. It takes a while. Another thing I also don't do is, when I make decisions, I don't make excuses for why I chose that decision, or I don't make excuses instead of actually making a decision. You know what I mean? I'm not the type of person that has excuses for why things went this way or why things didn't go this way or blah, 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 blah. I just do my thing. I just go out here and do my thing. I make the decision, I stand in it 10 toes, and I keep moving forward. Okay. Another thing that I do is I look at life very positively. My perspective of reality is very positive. Like, I feel like I get to decide what something means to me. I get to choose, does this thing bother me or does this thing not bother me? And if it does bother me or if it doesn't bother me, how do I want to respond to it? And because I look at life in that way, a lot of times life ends up a lot more pleasant than it would be if I just walked around here thinking that I respond to everything on autopilot. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times what you see depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for something negative, you're going to see something negative. If you look for something positive, you're going to see something positive, even out of a situation or experience that may be classified as negative. And so what I try to do if I'm experiencing something negative is try to find something positive. And I always say, God is working on this. God is still working on me. There is something I don't understand yet. And I'm pretty sure that the universe will reveal what it is to me with time. And one of the most important things that I do all day, every day, is appreciate where I am. Appreciate where I am. I don't care how minuscule it is or trivial it is to another person, where I stand or what my accomplishments are. To me, as long as I appreciate where I am, my life will be well lived. I appreciate the smallest things, the moments that I get to spend with my family. And I posted on Facebook just yesterday, I was talking about how being homeless and living in the streets and in a domestic violence shelter and living with family made me realize that I took a lot of stuff for granted when I did have my finances together and I did have my own room and my own bed and my own situation. I took a lot of stuff for granted because I didn't imagine myself not having a place to live. I didn't imagine myself in a domestic violence shelter with a baby. I never thought I would be that person. So now that I've experienced that, it's like I look at things very differently. Like, I walked into my bedroom, right? And I saw my bed and I was like, yo, I went so long without a bed. I was sleeping on floors. Like, the first listen to this story. The first time I slept in my bed, the first 2 nights I slept in my bed once I moved into my house and I got my bedroom furniture, the second night I slept in my bed, my body was aching because I had been sleeping on the floor, sleeping on couches, sleeping on places that I wasn't supposed to be sleeping because I didn't have my own space. That by the time I got my own space, I was so uncomfortable in my bed. My back was killing me. I was like, oh my God, I need some Advil up in here. Like, now it's comfortable. But before, it was like, oh my God, this bed is so hard. I can't deal. Like, I was like, I can't do this. I can't do this. And so I appreciate the smaller things. Like, I appreciate the positive contents. I appreciate the positive comments I get online. I appreciate people sending me little emails, inspiring me. I remember when I was homeless, a lot of people would send me a lot of positivity, a lot of prayers. People that couldn't send me donations, they would pray for me. And I really appreciated just small prayers. And that's why I think that there was a time I was like, please don't pray for me because, honestly, I don't know what God you're praying to, so I'm going to need you to leave that prayer stuff to yourself. But sometimes when people say I pray for you, sometimes I get like a negative feeling because sometimes I feel like it's not genuine. And then other times people will say it to me and then I'll have like this positive feeling and it'll feel so genuine to me. So I think that's just my intuition knowing when somebody being, ugly or somebody really, like I really trust my intuition now. I think, when I first met my son's father, I kept saying to people when they asked me what the red flags were, I kept saying, I didn't get any red flags. I didn't get any red flags. I didn't get any red flags. When the truth is, I really did. Like when I look back now, it's like, oh my God, my intuition was telling me something and I wasn't listening to it. I didn't even trust myself and my own intuition enough. And then once he and I broke up and I realized that he had been portraying himself to be something he wasn't, that whole relationship, and I wasn't even paying attention, I started to question my own judgment again. I was like, okay, is my intuition an issue? Like, do I really have an intuition issue? Like, can I trust my radar? I really had to do some self-evaluation. So, I think one thing that a lot of people don't think that I do is self-reflection, and I do that every day. And just because I may not behave how you want me to, and you think that's selfish, I need you to factor in that you wanted me to behave how you want me to is you being selfish. Let me behave and do whatever it is that I want to do for me in my life because it belongs to me. Don't go in other people's lives and expect them to be what you want them to be. That doesn't make any sense. You gotta allow people space to do and be whoever they want to be because it's their life experience and we only get one opportunity being here in this body. So I try not to be judgmental of other people. I try to give people a bit of understanding. I try to be cool and cordial and soft-hearted with people. And that's how I'm able to just move forward. I know it sounds like a lot, but that's where my strength comes from. And all of that stuff accumulating, it just presents strength. It presents resilience because my perspective of reality is the way that it is. And it may be different from other people's, but it's working for me. So that's for all of the people that, was wondering how I found inner peace. You just got to make peace with your past, and what others think of you is not your business. And give yourself some time to heal over some stuff, and don't compare your life to other people. You know what your journey is all about, so you know what's going on with you. And when people misjudge you, don't take it personal. Like I said, what other people think of you is not your business. And another thing, before I completely be done, another thing that I do is I realize that not everything deserves a response. How refreshing it feels sometimes to respond to somebody who is being malicious or cruel or negative, or who might be lying about you or spreading rumors about you. I adopted Omarion's level of chill. If you know who Omarion is, you know what he's dealing with right now. And that man's level of chill is what? I was like, yo, I'm so impressed by this guy. So I just try to have a level of chill, sometimes it's all right to not answer people. And sometimes when a question is being asked of you, sometimes it's just all right to not know the answer to that question. You know, you get to be in charge of your life, how you feel, your happiness. You control your life. And that's the big difference between me and a whole bunch of other people. A whole bunch of other people believe that their life is ran by someone else, or everything has to have a response, or they have a knee-jerk reaction to everything, or they're running on autopilot, or the things that's happening to them. Even if something happens to me that I don't want, at some point I gotta be like, okay, how I responded to this creates more havoc in my life if I responded negatively. So I try to respond positive. So I just try to be happy. I can't own all the problems in the world. I can't own all of that. And if I need help, I ask for it. I'm patient with results of stuff that I'm going after. You know, I make mistakes. I know what my strengths are. I don't consider failures. I consider them, learning experiences. Even if I don't accomplish something I want to accomplish, I celebrate my efforts. I celebrate progress. I just look at life very different, and I try my hardest to be the best version of myself I can be. That's all I can say about that. I don't know how else to express this, but people ask me all the time, like, how are you so strong? How do you, do such and such? When people say certain things about you, why don't you get upset? Or if people, have been so malicious to you, how are you so strong? Or you're on social media and all these lies are being spread and blah, blah, blah. How do you feel about that? And, people just wonder how I keep moving. And I hope I just explained it to you the best way I could. I hope you understand, okay? Anyway, I appreciate you listening, all right? Have vision and stay focused. Namaste.